Alright, welcome back. Today I have the face cam on, alright, because this is a little bit of a more serious video. I'm mainly trading trend and I just want to go over a different type of entry that I can go off of in more of a choppy market, which is kind of what I went by during December, early December. Early December I was using this entry, but I have never really gone over it. So this is what I'll do. Now, first things first, we look at QQQ the past few days. It's been consolidating, right? It's in this box, and you don't really want to. There's no trend, so that you're not going to get much follow through in these big names in the market. Now, if you're looking at IWM, which is for the small caps, you can see that there are some sectors that are hot and you can get clean trends, but it's hard to scan for those. So some people like me like to just trade, you know, more comfortable retail names, and it just because you know the stock's personality, right? So just to show you the index, we see QQQ. It fails to break pre-market high, which is a red flag to maybe dump or chop, which we see it dumps here, mainly because pre-market it's low volume. New York session, market open, there's higher volume, but if you can't push past a lower volume resistance on higher volume, you're not really, make that make sense. It's not gonna, you're not gonna get a clean trend, right? So the same thing happened yesterday. I can show you a setup from yesterday after I finished this Friday because a lot of people got rinsed. I already know. It's the third Friday of the month, which means it's OPEX, option expirations. Some of these the algorithms, they'll start pinning, they'll start pinning price in between a range and then just rinse everybody out. Okay, that's what they do in OPEX. They make it pretty tough. Okay, I would say. So yeah, we see it reject pre-market high and then it dumps. You could have caught this, but lately I just don't want to trade QQQ and some choppy, sloppy price action. So we can look at Tesla today. Granted, Tesla has kind of been stuck in between these EMAs and we need it to squeeze one way or the other. But Tesla it has higher volatility and it's kind of its own personality. So I was watching it this morning and I've already kind of drew it out. So we see on the 3-minute it kind of pushes up, but we get selling pressure here, right? On the 3-minute, look at all these wicks. Yes, I might take the retest on the AEMA and previous day high retest, but there's selling pressure. So why am I? Why? And QQQ is fading, so I'm not gonna buy longs on Tesla if QQQ most of the market's going down, right? And we can look at the 10-minute too. 10-minute we get this bearish engulfing. 5-minute you kind of get a doji and then an engulfing. So same concept. All right, and then all you have to do is wait for it. So when I fade the trend, it's usually on choppy days because it makes a momentum trade lower probability and a reversal higher probability, right? So we get a push up and then it's a fake out. QQQ is dumping and you want to see something cut below VWAP, or else we can see a mean reversion and then chop or a spike. So notice, like, this is pretty decent volume, I'd say, with a lot of heavy selling pressure. All right, so just to be a little bit more clear, we're going to wait for it to cut below and we get a retest on the VWAP and AEMA, and then we just ride it on the way down. We ride it on the way down, we get that we get EMA crossovers, and you don't have to wait for full ATR extension. You can set previous day low, pre-market low, as your price targets, and you should be chilling, right? You just cover some of your position here and here. Now, fading the trend, I will say, takes a bit of better candlestick reading, and if you entered on here, closed around here, I think it was like 500% profits. Insane. But it's because of the 0 days till expiration. That was for Friday. If we look at Thursday, on Intel Thursday and Friday, it was kind of the same thing. So you can see it's literally the exact same setup. You see it try to push up, and then it flushes all the way to lows. Like, this is the lowest point in the past 2 days. Crazy. Notice it's kind of the same thing here. This is the pre-market high. We get a push up, and it's a little bit more tricky, and I will say this is a harder read, but if you look at QQQ, the index is just chopping, so that's probably why it's a bit harder to read this, because you don't know where it's going to go. Right. So we get the initial push up. Okay, it's easier to see on the 5-minute. I usually use the 3 and the 5-minute in conjunction when taking trades off the open, but look, we get this. We get buyers trying to push this up, but then we get the bearish engulfing. Bearish engulfing flushes everybody out, and then we get a close below VWAP on the 5-minute. You'd probably want to get in on this retest on the 3-minute, and then you ride it to lows. That's probably like an 100% gainer right there. Pretty clean, I would say, on chop days. This is something I've been using, I'd say, for most of December, and I could have, yeah. I will say it's easier to fade the trend when the whole market's chopping, though. Right. So yeah, that's just another entry model that I've kind of found out as a momentum trader. If momentum fails to break, then most of the time the algorithms will try to flush these symbols that are trying to make a move up, right? And if market's chopping, kind of the same idea. Like, if it doesn't establish a trend in the first 30 minutes, I'd say, then it's guaranteed for a flush. Like, if you look at the 10-minute on Tesla today, notice this is the 950 candle. It closes at 10 o'clock. We get that close under, and you enter. Boom, 957 right around 10 o'clock, and you get the flush to lower. So around 10 o'clock, you get the trend established. We look at something like Hood. Today, we can see trend is established around 10 o'clock. It's pushing down. You could have gotten on this retest. Same thing with the choppy price action on Thursday. Right. You see the first 30 minutes, we get the bearish price action. Kind of retests here, but I don't know. It's kind of it's a retest. It's a little bit, no, that's a pretty good retest. And then if you're too late on this, you just wait. You literally just short the pops. So this is a pop up, and then it drops, pops up, drop, up, drop. And then if you notice here, this is kind of, so this is the 20 EMA on the 10-minute, which is basically a 30-minute retest on the 8 EMA. So you could have shorted this and held for what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could have held for 3 hours, and I think this went like something stupid. maybe 400% because there was a whale that sold a lot of shares here. I think it was some sort of bank, but this is kind of a lucky play, I will say. It shouldn't have extended this much. But still, you could have gone on this, and then it's still a pretty decent move, I'd say. But yeah, that is how you play chop. And if you wanted to be extremely cautious and find an A+ move in chop, all you have to do is wait. You just literally draw a box for the range, and then you wait for a breakthrough. Notice how it breaks through, and around PM session you can look at something like Apple, and it flushes in the PM session. So you get that. You get a 30-minute retest off these EMAs, and it flushes through. Even look at the daily on Apple, it's been trying to pull back, and then it's pushing downwards. And even here, notice this would be a good swing to do puts on because we get the EMA retest on the daily, and it's now flushing with high volume. So yeah, lots and lots of sauce dropped today. I hope you enjoyed, and keep supporting my videos. I appreciate it. Thank you.